Hello everybody, welcome back to ZeldaSpeedRuns. We're going to be redoing this over again. It's a Link to the Past NMG League 2022, Light World Round 2, Coxla versus McMonkey once again. Commentating for us is Dio and Sirius Cord. Say hello everybody.
Hello everybody.
Good morning. It's now getting ready for our 9 a.m. race start. Much more reasonable time of day than 8 a.m. Hope everybody's awake. All right, well, getting ready to start up again. This looks like just a normal day of runs.
So if you thought talking about escape was bad the first time, how do we feel about it the second time?
We can talk about all the things we didn't talk about, like
Up, down, left, right?
well, that's cheating, so maybe not that.
Well, it's cheating, but they need to know not to do it, I guess, right? We can talk about the categories that skip escape.
Well, a lot of categories kind of skip escape and then have to come back and do it anyway.
Yeah, but all bosses actually gets to skip escape. Because there's no boss there.
It's true. I'm trying to think, because I don't remember how the old man works and how you change to get there.
The old man doesn't spawn while you have the Zelda text follower.
So you need the sword.
You basically need to save and quit. So you have to save Zelda or get the sword.
Makes sense.
Specifically the fighter sword, because the tempered sword doesn't really give you... actually, no. You can tempered sword and do it too, because getting the dwarf would also delete the Zelda text follower if you manage to do it.
That sounds obnoxious.
I forget what category it's
Actually,
in.
wait, can you rescue the dwarf?
You rescue the dwarf
slow without the mirror.
You rescue the dwarf from the smith house in some major glitch categories.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and we rescue the tunic. Yeah.
Fake Dark World.
All right, well, we're back at it. We're walking. We're spinning guards, getting keys. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm okay to keep talking about major glitch stuff. Honestly. You can't get the Smith in Rain State, because in Rain State, all the Light World overworld sprites are actually in the Dark World, and all the Dark World overworld sprites are in the Ether.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't pull Master Sword. You can't open Thieves Town, either, oddly. You can get Light World heart pieces on the Dark World overworld, and oddly enough, if you get the race game heart piece in Rain State in the Dark World, it counts as collecting the Dig Game heart piece.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because the game just checks what screen you're on when you collect the heart piece. So, when it writes the flag, it's, oh, I got a heart piece here on the Dark World on this screen, so that must be the Dig Game heart piece. It would be great, but we currently don't have any categories, I think, that allow you to collect it that way.
Yeah, I think that's also true. McMonkey had a much better ball in Gen Guard this time around. Coxla's was slightly worse. The reason why our categories don't allow getting heart pieces incorrectly is because heart pieces can easily be duped. And so basically every category that collects heart pieces has a source requirement for them.
Yeah. The one of the most well-known ones to anyone who's watched or played No Logic is if you do Ice Armos in Cave State, they will drop a heart piece. Or not a heart piece, they'll drop a full heart container, because the game actually thinks that they're a boss. And you can actually, if you move them off screen like one at a time, as they die, you can actually get 6 heart containers from them.
Yeah, so this is a no major glitches run. We are going to see like a few small glitches, but if you're interested in glitches, this game has billions of them. And like, I don't know, glitch categories are really neat too, so.
Yeah, we don't get to do any of the really cool stuff in this one. All the stuff we do is boring and can be easily understood.
Pretty sure I need to go back to school to understand hook pushing.
At some point, I need to write a thesis on how to get Old Man to spawn. Which, by the way, if anyone ever figures out how to get Old Man to spawn with the Zelda text, or like manages to find other ways to delete that are RMG legal, let me know, because it definitely like cuts an item from low all dungeons RMG.
Oh God. Okay, well.
Yeah, this is a thesis topic in all seriousness, but like right now the main way people play it is with boosts and Ether Medallion, and you skip Lamp and you skip I forget the other item. But basically there's a theoretically tied count where you would skip Boots and Book and you would get Lamp and I think it's like another sword or something like that.
And I do want to thank the runners for having uneventful escapes so that we don't have to talk about it. With that said, if you don't think Eastern's Escape 2.0, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Mostly because I love pumping. Makes my hands feel good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would like to just shout out the fact that I can't pump all of these screens that the runners are currently going through, because I would be much more annoyed with the split if I had to.
Yes, thank God pumping only works in some directions. It's a nice way to deal with that RNG on Cox's side. Ooh, Coxla got that RNG. In that case, if you always slash low, you'll get around the Octo every time. It's kind of tricky though, but yeah.
And I saw it mentioned in chat about how pumping hurts if you reset enough. It's probably worth noting that like pumping is totally optional, especially like if you're not going for a top 10 run.
Yeah.
Like the difference between pumping for the majority of players, unless it's on staircases, is like maybe 5 seconds across the entire run, and sometimes you don't even save time pumping unless it's on stairs.
Yeah, as somebody who's practiced a lot of rooms, usually pumping saves 1 or 2 frames, and that's if you attempt 6 to 10 pumps in a room. Like, it's not super good. It's just enough that you feel bad not going for it.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is like, there's nothing really better to be doing in a lot of cases.
Right, you just get bored if you're not.
Yeah, because really, if you're not pumping, the rest of the rooms are just hold a diagonal here and hold up here, and there's nothing really exciting going on, so might as well.
All right. Well, the good news is McMonkey. Ooh, guess Coxla gets a red drop. McMonkey picked up the key this time, so we've manipulated the console to stay on. I hope.
Coxla is setting up the duplicate rupee count. But yeah, there's tons of times where sometimes I'll just reset a run and not care to.
We have missed an arrow pod.
Oh, yeah, he did. Oh, I think he might have skipped it on purpose because he got the arrow drop in the key room. Which I don't think is right,
Wait.
but it exists.
I didn't even notice that. That's not even something that... Oh, missed the key. Okay. Avoid the green Igor. That's... I would have still picked up the arrows.
I would have too. The weird thing about getting the arrow drop in Eastern and actually picking them up is that I have no idea what you're supposed to do with that.
Yeah, I would have still picked them up.
Like, you can't get it in Stalfos room, which is where you would want it, because you would want to skip the very first arrow pot you would grab. That's the only one that really costs a ton of time.
Right. Yeah, that one costs like 40 frames or something. Actually, it costs over a second, I think.
Yeah, it's about a second, I think.
It actually is one of the slowest arrow pots we get in the entire game. But it just makes Eastern consistent, because like if you don't get an arrow drop from the Igors at all, which is a 1 in 8 chance,
you'd be 1 arrow short to be able to do Armos. You would have 17 arrows exactly and need 18.
So you'd lose like 4 seconds trying to pick up an extra pot, and then also arrows are like the one thing that you don't want to be low on, because bombs you'll lose a couple seconds, rupees you'll lose a couple seconds, arrows you'll lose a couple seconds every time you need to fire the bow, which is
yeah, like if you skip that arrow pot and get unlucky to get no drops on the Igors, you'd basically have to spend multiple seconds going to get one in that very last double readies room, and even then you would only have 22 for Armos, so you'd have at most like 24 fast to do Landmo, which is still lower than you'd like. As opposed to trading 1 second away to get the very first arrow pot and being able to not have to reset Eastern or lose 3 seconds in that 1 in 8 chance. And if you get the arrow drop, you just have like a bunch of arrows to throw at the worms.
Ooh. Starting the dash is really hard. Like, you want to cancel the dash and then exactly 1 frame later be starting it. Sometimes that means you accidentally do it at the same time, and so you don't get a dash start. This time McMonkey opted not to do the spin speed to library, which since Coxla missed the spin speed, probably means McMonkey saved time.
Yeah, it should. Hopefully neither of them get splashy dashy. Oh, alright.
Okay.
That's my fault.
So
All right.
one of the tricks that every runner should learn, and I'm sure I'm seeing them do it, it's just that we don't always remember every single instance where we want to do it, is when Link is starting a dash, Link can turn in any of 4 directions without moving. And so you almost always want to start your dash facing the wrong direction and then turn towards the direction you want to face. Almost always. And the big reason is because it lets you avoid grabbing bushes or anything else. So...
Yeah, exactly. It also, like, very, very minusculely, it also ensures that you're maximizing the length of your dashing. So you're not walking 4 or 5 frames before dashing. You're like starting to charge the dash and then turning into the direction, usually.
Right. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Usually it saves about 1 frame to go for dash turns. Not always, but usually. I don't know how many times we dash in this speedrun, but if you could save 1 frame on every dash, you would probably save more time than you save by pumping. So...
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those where, like, it doesn't matter when you're first starting out. It doesn't matter even as you're, like, grinding for a sub 90, but when you start looking at the top runners and you're looking at someone like how Doom has a 123.30 something versus how, like, Blunt has a 123.50 something, the 20 seconds that is the difference is usually the result of stuff like that. Like, it's almost invisible to the naked eye.
Yeah, consistency really is kind of the name of the game. And that means more than just consistency with handling RNGs or whatever. Consistency with the way you approach rooms and how you move Link.
Yeah, things like being able to start a dash as soon as possible so you don't waste a few frames here and there. Because there's just so many screens in the game and so many different inputs you're doing. Being able to do them as quickly as possible and as soon as possible.
And sometimes stuff like that, like on Coxla's side there, when you get grabbed by the antlion, it means your dash was a little bit late. And like that's a pretty tight dash. It's one of the few dashes where like you either get it first frame or you hold down to make sure that you can get it like 3rd frame. And if it's a much later than that, you will get grabbed every time.
I remember looking at it. I think it's like a 10 frame window if you hold down. Like, it's ridiculously wide if you hold down on that screen.
Yeah, holding down is really big.
Which also is like the other thing we were saying is sometimes you do want to just hold the direction that you intend to dash.
Coxla is low again. Hopefully we get similar landmos. McMonkey walking in now.
He's not getting the hearts either.
Now we are.
He is now. Alright.
We'll get a pretty solid first one. This is going to be 1 arrow and then 3 in the other 2. Oh, okay. That was kind of unfortunate, their spawn pattern. There's 2 arrows. This should be 2 arrows and a slash. Okay. 1 arrow and a slash on McMonkey's side. Coxla, pretty nice opening start there.
Uh-oh.
Lanmo in Oko is a real boss.
Yeah, it's scary. This is like the worst possible too.
Alright, we're out. That's all that matters.
Yep. It's worse in Oko when you get to the last room because the boss starts spawning more rocks.
Right. It's hard to see, but like, because of basically the rocks don't show up if one of the landmos is exploding, so we don't always see it. But the oh my goodness, oh, that is a mean grab and a mean pickle.
Yeah, McMonkey kind of got bullied a bit there.
When it's just the 3rd landmo, it actually fires rocks in 8 directions. They're just invisible if something's exploding on screen because there's too much stuff on screen.
Alright, so the good news is that neither player should see a bush guard in Lost Woods as well.
Yeah.
Both of them ended up getting the bush on that swamp overworld screen, the bush guard. And there's actually not enough bushes that you cut. Like, realistically speaking, you need to hit 8 or 9 50-50s in a row in order for another bush guard on there.
Bushes have a kind of prize pack. Maybe Coxla just always shoots that pickle because 7 arrows is...
Yeah, that's iffy to me, but maybe it's just the way it works for him.
Okay, now we're getting beat up by dead rocks. Please don't get beat up by boulders.
But yeah, really quick, bushes, like you said, have a kind of prize pack. It's not the same type, but one of the useful pieces of information you can glean from it is that if you see a bush guard on that swamp screen heading the Hera, then you shouldn't see one when you're going for tree rupees.
Right, and we have a bush skull as well, which we always bonk on. We try to avoid that one, but sometimes you get unlucky. We do our best to avoid it, but it is RNG at the end of the day, so by avoid it, I mean we just don't dash through a million different bushes if we don't have to.
Alright, so McMonkey did make it into Hera. Coxla's making it his way up the mountain with a lot more health.
Okay, good job fighting off that Green Moldorm. Now we have to get past the impossible one. Okay, we did it.
Yeah, there is a safe strat for dealing with that Moldorm, where you just do the 2 dashes. I don't know what it loses, but I do know that a lot of players go for it as well. Like Moogle.
It's over a second slower.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to walk up, like, you're walking cardinal instead of diagonally, and then you have to start another dash, and the dash doesn't even save time. It's just that it's like a safe dash, right? So...
yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Coxla showing off.
Did there. It's maybe not a full second, but it's the entirety of the dash, at least. So it's at least 30 frames slower. The advantage, of course, being 2 slashes is about 30 frames, so... Okay. That's a scary screen. Monkey's past it. We're gonna get the big key and we're out.
Alright, and now for the easy part of Hera. I've mentioned it before, but like any split that is a tower is like one of the most fun and frustrating splits in the game, it seems. Like there's Hera, Aga Tower, and Ganon's Tower.
No, this one sucks. It's not fun.
I like the tower part of it. I don't like the overworld.
Don't like the basement, the dungeon.
The auto-scroller can...
Please.
Uh-oh. Alright. We're through the first bit. It should be good.
Fox having a little bit of trouble with beetles here. Don't spit fire. Okay. Whew.
Alright.
Oh, that can happen. We didn't even talk about bumper skip, but there's like a 7 pixel range you can walk through, which sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Oh, we did hit the switch. Okay, I didn't see that.
I did not see that either, but I'm glad we did.
Coxla trying to force their way past the fire. Oh my god! Oh my god! Good thing we hit the switch. That was.
Oh my!
Are you for real, Moldor?
All right, that basically tied up the runners.
Yeah, 6 hits on Moldorm. The 6th hit, Moldorm's gonna go fast. I wish we could kind of just go fast without having to charge a dash. That'd be neat. We have successfully completed Tower of Hera. Nothing can go wrong from here.
I'm just noticing it now on my end, but Coxla's timer is like 7 seconds behind McMonkey's, and I don't know if that's just because his live split started late, or if that is accurate.
I think Coxla started a little bit late or something because it was behind early in Escape. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if we assume that their live split timer is actually accurate, then they're actually up by 4 seconds. But if they started late in actuality, then we're watching what is happening. Kind of the hard thing to know because we won't know till they got done.
Right, and I haven't been too worried about it because even though a lot of this game is kind of decided by small errors, a lot of it's also decided by big errors. Some things not your fault, like these upcoming blue balls, which was the last time. Hopefully, instead of 5-5, it's 0-0. But yeah, there's just like enough things in this game where you lose 20-30 seconds that worrying about a couple seconds here and there is not really that important. So here we're going to see 3 rupees again. They both have way more rupees than I need. Monkey gets to skip a red. Fun stuff. Both of them not dashing through that green guard again and also not getting hit. It might seem like that's a likely thing, but it's you get hit often enough when you don't kill that green guard that just kill the green guard. Right, hopefully we have good Aga Towers here. They were pretty okay last time. Oh, Coxla having a little bit of issues here. Okay, we're fine. Monkey gets a good dash.
Alright, we're not spinning this time. Oh, but we're slashing.
Yeah, you really want to dash low on that screen. The way they hold their swords means when you dash high, you're more likely to get frame rolled. Or just hit, rather. Sometimes it's not even a frame roll.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Nice chest turn from Coxla. I think that's the first one. Oh, this is just awful. Alright, we're getting out. Very good.
Dark Maze, what a room.
Every single room in this tower is like a challenge in its own right. Not to just get through, but a challenge to like do fast.
Alright, McMonkey got the RNG there where it looks like you should slash. Absolutely never slash on that RNG. You should always walk underneath the guard, which sounds insane, I know, but that's what you're supposed to do. Luckily not punished. Didn't fall off, anything like that, so that's good. Coxla must have gotten the The descent arrows. I missed it.
Yeah, Coxla stopped off and grabbed those.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
Uh-oh. We did it.
Those are narrow edges. It is not easy to move on pits.
Right. Alright, so for the third time today, if you need a coffee, now is the perfect time. Because for the next minute and a half to 2 minutes at least, nothing will be happening.
Except disappointment.
True, plenty of that.
Oh, map check. RNG minute?
Power minute?
No. None of that.
So we also didn't talk too much about it, but both of the runners did get 5 last time, and it was pretty even, so hopefully they'll at least be comparable here as well.
Yeah, that's all we really ask. Is that RNG doesn't decide the race.
Yeah, I think for the last tournament we had last year, I forget who exactly worked out the math, but I helped with it, and it came out to like most races, like 75% or something, would be within 2 blue balls of each other.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it's win last time. So this race actually started at 8 the first time. There were some unforeseen circumstances. But
all right.
There won't be this time.
McMonkey is 1 screen away from breaking new ground. You love to see it. Alright. And the extra good news is this is also about the same difference we had before. So we've gotten there in totally different ways, but yeah, very similar to how it was last time.
Okay, I think we did it. We're past commentator curse, right?
I can't say anything. Not after some things I've commentated.
Okay, so at the risk of me cursing it, what happened last time was that after Aghanim entering the Dark World, McMonkey's nest kind of just stopped and reset itself, and we don't know why. But Coxla was very sportsmanlike and basically said they didn't want to win that way, they'd rather re-race it, and they both had time to do so. So this is the re-race. And we've now made it further than we have today.
All right, now we can talk about some fun stuff like pod. Now we're going to see the same room about 19 times. But yeah, I know somebody asked about the mirror in a first race, and we're going to see a lot of it here. It's actually not faster to mirror back to the dungeon, except for this first one. Which sounds odd, because we do it a bunch. In fact, it ties the old strat of kind of completing the dungeon in the most efficient non-mirror way possible. But this has the advantage of getting us extra bombs. Okay.
Alright, we didn't get hit or punished.
And like I said, nobody ever goes the wrong way. But Coxla did remember the correct way there.
Yeah, and this, like Dow said, this mirroring over and over again, it's basically, I think it's maybe at task level, like 10 frames faster even, and you have an extra bomb.
Right. It's pretty easy too. There's not anything like some of the rooms are really interesting if you don't have the mirror, but maybe they're only interesting because we never get to do it. I don't know. Coming up on hammer jump here on McMonkey's side, this trick is... Oh. Sometimes I can't tell, but that second one looks good. That is very nicely done.
Yeah, that was a very clean hammer jump. Actually, that's a good time to ask that. Is it hammer jump or jump for you?
I say jump, but I also am lazy, so I don't want to change the way I say words.
Yeah, I get that. I started out with jump, and now I'm kind of stuck with it unless my phone auto-corrects it.
Oh, Coxla having a bit of trouble here. It is important to get this bomb down, this first one down in time. You have plenty of pause buffers to do so, but we're waiting on the bridge.
That was a little bit sketchy, but I think it was a guaranteed one. I don't think he was past the threshold of like maybe missing that on a 50-50.
I actually don't know how it works.
So at the like very high level, basically, if you're standing on the same Y coordinate as when you placed the bomb, it'll guaranteed work. And as long as Link's not like more than halfway into the bomb, it should guaranteed work. And then after that, it's like 50-50 shot of whether or not it works based on the pixel.
I see.
And
yeah, so just stand far away from the bomb, which is what you should.
Oh, yeah, you want to
anyway.
You want to hug the bomb, but not be in the bomb, basically.
Yeah. McMonkey walked right past the arrows from the mimics. Coxla did not get a drop.
Coxla managed to dodge that fireball too, to preserve health and keep beams here.
We are going to be able to pick up enough arrows, so it doesn't matter. If you leave here with 0, it definitely feels good to leave here with more than that, though.
Yeah, everything we talked about with arrows and Eastern is basically just to make sure we don't have to stop for pots in that mimic room.
Monkey got some tinks there. Okay, it's not going to end up mattering.
No, it should be okay. It just delays the sword charge in that one specifically, I think.
I don't know if we got it. Oh, this looks good. Okay, so nope. McMonkey's actually going for a spin speed there, which seems really odd because we're not trying to go fast. But it pushes the hammer hitbox away from Link and makes it much easier to connect those last few hits, which we want to do because it's only 4 hammers as opposed to 8 sword slashes. So it's a lot faster.
Yeah. Helmasaur has a lot of things to him where, like, it can be scary, but really the safest thing to do is to just get him off the screen.
Exactly. There's a couple of times, maybe, I don't know if we mentioned it today, but the fastest way to do things is the safest way to do things, even if it is the hardest. Which sometimes you don't want to hear, because it means you just have to get better. Like, you can't change your strats, you just have to play better.
Yeah, exactly.
We're through Helmasaur King, which is good. Helmasaur King is, like, one of the worst bosses. It's probably killed the most runners out of any boss.
Yeah, Helmasaur King basically marks the end of Light World, because he's kind of like the gatekeeper into it. Once you're through Pod, the run kind of starts getting really fun. Pod is fun in its own right, more so than some of the places in the Light World, but also Hammer and Jump can also just lose you 20 or 30 seconds on a bad day.
Right.
And Helmasaur can lose you like 5 to 15, depending, because there's subtle amounts of RNG inside of there.
All right, and we get to see an entirely new split. You love to see it. Thieves Town is... I like this split. Okay, Monkey gets... Alright, we're through. That screen can be a little bit tricky when it goes a little... any different than you expect. So, well done there.
So yeah, welcome in Raiders too, and like I was saying, this is basically the this furthest we've made it today. The first iteration of this race actually had a console crash, so this is round 2. For anyone joining not familiar with the title specifically, Light World Round 2 is what that means. The Light World is just the lower bracket of the tournament. Both these players are 0-1. So they're just playing against each other, and the Light World part is their seeding.
Right, and this is a league structure, so it's not like a double limb or anything. Everybody will play 4 matches, I believe, and then I'm not totally sure how it works from there, but the first 4 matches are guaranteed.
Yeah, everyone plays 4 matches, and then it's done, actually, at that point.
Okay.
So there's no playoffs or cut the top 8 or anything like that. It's just at the end of 4 weeks, somebody will be 4-0 and be the winner.
Right, just whoever's 4-0. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of a naming structure. I don't know. You don't want to call things just like upper league and lower league or whatever. So but yeah, Thieves Town is like it's one. I think it is the longest split in the game.
If you're doing boomer shopping, so all in Mire, I think that's right. Aside from maybe like Agatar with a bunch of blue balls and not separating Aghanim and stuff.
Even if you get 3 blue balls, Agatar should be faster than this.
Yeah, because I think the way it works is if you get Ether and Ice Rod in Mire, every single split can be sub 7, but Thieves Town is the least likely.
Does anybody have a sub 7 Thieves yet? Coxla goes for that spin speed. That saves 10 frames.
WQ has a 659 gold, I think, and one other person might have a 6.5x. I know somebody has a 7 flat, but I forget who.
Yeah, so 7 minutes, just about the longest split in the game. Depends on our shopping, of course, but the overworld, oh boy, is almost 3 minutes long, which is like longer than some dungeons. So, and then the dungeon itself is, I suppose, about 4 minutes long.
Yeah, it looks like WQ is the only person with under a 7. And then Eddie, Ari, and Zelda all have 7 flats.
Yeah, that's incredible. Because, like, even though I find this split to be one of the easier ones, like, just having that consistent movement, that precise movement is really, really tough. Oh, we're getting beat up here.
Yeah, the precise movement along with Hellway that you just saw on McMonkey's side. Because that Hellway screen, ideally, you just set up a dash so that you end up in the middle of the room and then go straight up the runway. But not only can you fail to set up that dash properly, you can also just get RNG where it's impossible to dash straight through.
Exactly. And yes, this is a no save and quit category. Most of the non-glitched full game completion runs are no save and quit in this game. There are, or there is a save and quit category if you would prefer that. And if you like saving and quitting, then you can do that all the time in glitch categories. So.
Yep, there's no stigma against save and quit either. Like the origin stories of it really quick is just we have a weekly race as well where anyone can join and just do an NMG run. And that weekly race had to pick one of the categories. Ended up picking no save and quit, and then that ended up sticking as the most popular.
Yeah, really all there is to it.
The save and quit NMG run is actually kind of fun, if a little bit repetitive compared to this one.
It's mostly the same.
Yeah, it's mostly the same except for like some of the things you have to do on not full health So, like, there's different strats, and then the shopping and dungeon order kind of changes around a little bit in the late game.
Yeah, nothing serious. Coxla's gonna get a spare bomb. She'd love to see it. And we're into the blind fight here. Blind fight should go well. I should not say anything. Oh my god. It's gonna go well. 9 hits, that's all it takes. 3 hits in each phase, 3 phases. And it's exactly the same every time. Nothing bad ever happens. See?
Nothing bad.
Never. Right, yeah, so saving and quitting saves about 2 minutes in total. It's hard to kind of look at just the world records because nobody really runs the save and quit category very seriously. And we're gonna see, hopefully, these last 3 hits as well. Nothing bad ever happens. Okay, we're fine. No, it's really not that much. Oh, you do have to get the heart.
Thankfully, we have to get the heart.
Right. Yeah, it's not that much time, mostly because a large portion, like it's 10 minutes is text mashing. You don't get to skip any of that. You don't get to skip any of the dungeons, which is then the bulk of it. And it really only saves time in a couple of overworld sections.
Right. The biggest distinction between this game, I think, and some of the later Zelda speedruns that do use save and quit is that for those speedruns, save and quit starts you at the start of the dungeon, acting like a mirror, but we just have an item for it.
Yes, that's definitely the biggest thing. The number one place we'd like to save and quit would be dungeons, but you just mirror instead. So whatever.
Yep.
And saving
also
and quitting in dungeons doesn't work in this game.
Right. And the other big thing that like other games have is manipulations too. So like Oracle of Seasons and Ages, they save and quit and they set up manips for RNG, whereas this game you just can't manip RNG.
Right. Yeah.
Either
exactly.
fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your perspective.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of personal.
Yeah. It's Blue Balls is like the only thing you'd really want to manip, I think. Everything else is kind of reactable, but that's the biggest one you would obviously want to just get 0 every time.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so we're picking up the Tempered Sword here, and picking up some money. Not like the most interesting movement, but
There's Fence Dash.
Tempered Sword is huge. Possibly the best item in any video game.
Oh no, we missed a Fence Dash.
And that Fence Dash costs us all the time Tempered Sword's going to save.
Yep. It might actually be. I don't know how much Tempered does save. I know it's all in the Ganon fight.
Do you want the real answer, or do you want the?
I mean,
nobody would ever get this answer.
The real answer is that Tempered Sword is saving you time every single time RTA because you're not optimally doing every single boss fight without it.
No, the real answer is Tempered Sword is saving your run every single time because you're not dying to Moth and Gold Stare.
Well, and Vitreous and all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, at a task level, Master Sword is ahead of Tempered Sword runs up until you crash into the pyramid after I get you. But then Ganon is where the difference comes in, and even a task saves time with Tempered Sword at that point.
Yeah, Tempered Sword optimally saves less than 20 seconds, which is... It feels wrong that it saves that little. It takes 80 seconds to get it. It takes a long time to get it. So it's making up 100, basically.
Yeah, and that's just at the optimal level, and at the RTA level, Master Sword strats are just harder in general.
They're harder and less consistent, and yeah, as a result... Oh, please slash to the right, McMonkey. I'm sure if you're bonking, you know that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we got the big key. We did it.
Yeah, McMonkey took an extra hit from the mummies, and so opted not to fall out of the pit. Yeah, and if you don't, that ropa will hit you. So good job, McMonkey, slashing there. And like, oh, missed the bomb jump. That's.
I'm kind of shocked that didn't work, but also it was a super delayed setup, so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so here we're coming up on like our first instance of Tempered being useful, which is going to be the Moth fight. It's only going to be 4 hits to kill Moth, which can take anywhere from 10 seconds to 40. We're obviously hoping for 10. Oh, missed the spike hit. Okay, got one there. Please don't kill the mini Helma. Alright, we're good. Yeah, we're hoping to see a double poke here, which is 2 hits right off the bat. That probably got it. Yep. And then friendly conveyor, friendly moth pattern, and that is a fast fight. And that's how you want to see it every time. Mass Sword's 8 hits. You never get friendly patterns like that.
8 hits if you don't hit them into the spikes.
Right. Which hopefully we won't see on Coxla's side, so we won't have to talk about it.
Exactly. Fun fact though, the GBA fight for Moth is scripted.
If things were just slightly different in this fight, it would be scripted. That was only 1 hit for sure. Oh. So Fire Rod can get Moth away from the spikes, but really Moth needs to come down. Please don't go for poke dashes like this. Okay. Shout outs to Senkar. That fight gets dangerous.
Just imagine that
After
fight
the
there.
first 5 seconds or so.
Yeah, just imagine if you didn't have Tempered Sword and needed 4 more hits.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, McMonkey is now on his way to talk to a fish, and then talk to another fish-like thing, and then fight some eyeballs.
I don't know why they called it a link to the past. It should be a link to the eyeballs. It's just every enemy, just eyeballs.
Yeah, this is the eyeball intermission, really. The next 3 dungeons are basically the eyeball intermission. That might have not been good, but it worked out. I don't know what actually happens, but it always feels like unless you do the screen optimally, that lottery just continues getting worse and worse.
Yeah. But yeah, we picked up the Quake Medallion, which we won't need for another 20 minutes, and we're going to use exactly once. I think we do end up using every item we pick up, even
We
in
do.
100%.
Hundo, we do not use bombos.
That's true. I always forget to grab it too. So
Unless you're like me and you just use it after the credits.
the Louis special. Coxla gets past that enemy too. No problem.
Yep. Technically speaking, bottles is the other thing that we don't have to use in Hundo, but a lot of players in Hundo opt to put a fairy inside of a bottle just for getting burnout.
Yeah, it makes sense. If you don't use bottles, you're probably not using the net either, so...
Yeah, right.
The
I mean,
point is,
unless you're
even if
memeing
we
it up.
only use it once, we do use it.
Right, unless you're memeing it up in Aga 2.
Sounds bad. Alright, we have our flippers. We're going into Ice Palace. We have a good supply of bombs on both sides. You need to avoid the Zora, which is hard because the Whirlpool affects your movement a lot. Okay, we did it. and swimming's already impossible.
Does the whirlpool actually affect the movement?
Yeah, it does.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it was just all terrible swimming for me.
It like swirls you just a little bit.
All right, good to know I don't have to blame myself for it.
Oh no, it's still your fault, but but yeah, it is tricky. Anytime you're not doing exactly what you're used to right there, it gets weird.
Yeah.
At least I think the whirlpool affects you. It feels like it does.
Yeah, I think, if I remember correctly, Bombos is the only item that does not have a category on our leaderboards where it's used.
Coxla gets the terrible RNG. It's like technically possible to avoid that, but it's not. Seeing double bomb from McMonkey. It's kind of unfortunate how the room played out, but okay, Coxla takes a hit there. That hit probably won't matter. Mostly we want to have beams for conveyor, like McMonkey just had, so you can do with the jelly. Here we have the bomb jump. We're taking a second to set it up, which is fine because it saves. Oh no!
Oh no!
Okay, we have an extra.
This is going to be harder to set up too. Because that pot's not there.
Yeah, I think we're good though. Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool.
Alright. That saves like 4 minutes. It
It's something like
is
that, yeah.
one of the only kind of skips in this game that is basically hard required.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Even like most of the bomb jumps we've been doing only save about 15 seconds or so.
Yeah, that one there saves like 3 loops through Ice Palace. This one saves so much time that when the community proposed a glitchless category and didn't want to do bomb jumps, someone had to write a doc or find a doc for how to actually do Ice Palace. Because only like 2 people knew how to do Ice Palace without the bomb jump.
Oh, Pengator lineup proving to be an impossible room. Last one just gets by Coxla. McMonkey into Cold Stare here. 8 fire rod shots, 1 spin, and then 1 or 2 pokes at your choice. Looks like it's going to be 1, and then oh, that's bad. All right, now we need a bunch of slashes to finish off the fight.
Uh-oh.
Please.
I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay, now we're down to just 1. Please? Okay. They actually have variable speeds they can go. We're done, thank. Oh. Sometimes they go really fast, sometimes they don't. If based off that movement, if it had gone fast, McMonkey would have been dead. We're gonna see 8 fire rod shots here, a spin, a 1 poke, a double spin, there we go, and then 1 slash to finish off the fight. That's how you do it.
So when Dow said earlier that like you're either gonna lose frames or you're gonna lose like 20-second chunks, you can kind of see how that pans out there.
Yeah.
That boss is one of the most terrifying as well when it goes wrong, and shoutouts again to Sankart for saving McMonkey.
Yeah, that's a big time loss. But we're not dead.
Yeah, being dead there is significantly worse because you're out of magic and you need to do a fire rod shot to redo the dungeon. So you end up losing like 4+ minutes if you die to Cold Stare there.
Alright, now at this point the runners have choice on what they get to do. We're going to grab the Ether Medallion here. You just need to get the Ether Medallion before Mire, but the most convenient times to get it are either after Swamp or after Ice, because we're floating away anyway. We don't want to get it before ice because Death Mountain sucks and you're going to get hit, and you really don't want to be hit going into ice. And you technically lose like, whatever, a second or two from kind of float stuff.
You wouldn't lose any time doing it before ice.
You'd have to do it before
Zora.
Before Zora, yeah.
Yeah, and you could get like the heart before Quake, like the safety hearts already that you grab with lottery.
Right.
Harry used to do it actually before ice, before swapping at like 127.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
but you can
Ares,
see on Coxla's side, yeah, took a few hits on Dead Mountain.
yeah, it's odd because in the sub 90 spreadsheet with all those times, Ares like I think the only person who has shopping in ice.
I suppose that's fine. Usually in ice, like your health kind of doesn't matter because if you're gonna die, you are gonna lose 40 hearts.
Yeah, it's only in the second room I think that beams help and save time.
And conveyor room, but yeah.
And conveyor, yeah, you're right.
But this is the safest split to get the Ether Medallion because you're not gonna die in Swamp. Like we've all died in Swamp, but oh boy, okay. That's a very rude bomber.
Yeah, sometimes that just happens, and I don't think it can be avoided 100% of the time.
The bombers are really random. They just kind of do what they want. And then they hit for 2 hearts, which is insane, but whatever.
Well,
So yeah.
they're showing the bonk without bonking there. Oops, the bonk without bonking there.
Yeah, we're probably not going to die in this split. That said, we've all died here. And now that I've said it, somebody's going to die on Restream. Not today, but at some point.
Yeah, the 5 hearts down is not the end of the world, and there are 2 hearts that you can grab before the boss fight that are not that much time as well. So
there's 1 heart we're going to pick up that's just in our way. So
yeah, that's true. I never really count that one though, because you always instantly lose it to the fire snake.
That's also true. And yeah, the enemies in Swamp are really random. Like that enemy that just hit McMonkey. Sometimes you kill it, sometimes you don't. Sometimes when you don't kill it, it doesn't matter. Sometimes when you don't kill it, you get hit. But it's not worth going out of your way to kill any of the enemies in this dungeon because
McMonkey showing off the fire snake that's about to take the heart. Oh, he didn't. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, that fire snake is like really kind of trolly because as you go down the stairs, you can despawn him, but the spawn point of him lines up with the door, so you can respawn him. If he just goes left like you did for both players here, he just ends up blocking you.
Yeah. Oh, there's the hit. Don't get hit twice, please.
Rude.
Anyway, never before seen Rando Tech. Left side swamp. We're going to pick up the hookshot here. Quite frankly, this hookshot's in a very mean spot. Like, you do this your first time through, and you're like, I don't know what's going on, and you pick the wrong hole, and you just get 20 rupees. And you have to do it all again.
Yeah, not only do you get 20 rupees, but you're taunted with the fact that if you had the hookshot, you could hookshot the gap.
Yep, exactly. I guess we're getting the big key, not the hookshot, which makes it even worse, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the same. I don't know what's in the chests, I just know that we get them. That's true, you can also have not hit the switch. Yeah.
No one's ever forgotten the switch, ever.
Alright, now we have the hookshot. Do a really nifty setup to hit this pixel perfect hookshot onto that pot. If you have the choice between hooking to something and walking to it, you should probably use the hookshot. Also, if you have the choice between hookshotting something and dashing to something, you should probably use the hookshot.
Well, usually you would want to dash, actually. It depends. For short things, you would hookshot, but for the dashes that barely save time, that is. But anything where it's a longer distance, you want to dash, because after the 30 frames is up of charging the dash, you're moving at 4 pixels per. Whereas the hookshot, you're moving at 0 for half of it, and then you're moving at 4 for half of it.
The hookshot is faster up to a distance of 7.5 tiles, and the hookshot stretches exactly 8 tiles. So.
Really?
You should basically always hookshot, yeah.
Okay.
McMonkey picked up the arrow pod, didn't get the arrows, which is... He should have picked up the arrow pod. I don't know how he didn't grab them, but... You should always compromise your movement to do cool things like this Argus quick kill. Oh, that sucks. Not going to get it exactly, but we're also not going to lose any time. Yeah, very challenging fight. Looks like Coxla is also going to go for... Okay, missed the initial hook dash. And get some fast patterns from Argus. That's unfortunate.
This is going to get scary fast.
No, we're fine.
Okay, we're good. Thank you, Schukel, pointing out that he wouldn't have messed up, then he would have gotten it.
Alright, now we have the longest cutscene. Goes literally forever. So I'll see y'all at the heat death of the universe. Oh, just kidding, it's over. Thank goodness. And so now we get to do Meyer, which is hopefully gonna go nice and easy with the 12 hearts that we have.
Meyer should be fine. It's like one of the most consistent splits in the game.
Nothing bad ever happens in Meyer. Big reason why people choose to do the Ether Medallion in a Swamp Palace is for this particular room right here. Beams make this room nice and easy-ish. Okay, there you go. Nice one cycle on McMonkey side.
Unfortunate fire snake placement there, but it shouldn't matter.
I remain unconvinced that we shouldn't just always take the top path, but...
You might be right. It feels like the top path is less safe less often, but yeah, I don't know. I have no empirical evidence to back this up.
Neither do I. I'm gonna light these torches here. Oh, okay. We're fine. We're gonna get... Actually, we're a little bit short on magic, but it's fine.
Yeah, there's a couple options. Either skipping Spooky 3 or grabbing the magic pod and spike key, both of which are about even.
Yeah. Or grabbing the full magic, which is like surprisingly
It's like
not slower.
it's like 2 seconds, I think. It's not bad, but it's not
It's
great.
definitely not what you want to do, but yeah.
It's 2 seconds minus whatever you save on refill.
Which is 64. Well, it's actually no time because you're
Oh yeah, because low health.
low health. Yeah. Looks like we are not seeing a spark gamble on McMonkey's side.
Also not being punished for not spark gambling.
The fire snake sometimes zigzags around the spark, so nice job there to avoid it. Okay, held sword out, walking through that door. Just oh, get the arrows. Okay, it's fine. Reacting to something like that usually is going to cost you more time than just not. So
Yeah, and then we didn't talk about spooky at all, but
everybody
basically
knows
the
about it
runners
by now, right?
the runners are just going to be doing a minor glitch here to make the fire rod do magical things and hit switches off screen. Assuming all goes well.
First one good. Oh, that bonk. Didn't matter. 70 frames, whatever. Second one, good. Taking it nice and safe. Coxla a little bit slow, gets hit there. Third one, also good. And now we're into the Vidi fight. 9 hearts. We're going to take either 4 or 5 hearts here. Intentionally, so we do want to be healthy. That's not a great second spin. That's really bad. 2 hearts is not where you want to be.
I'm not scared.
Please, okay.
I don't know if McMonkey knows about the Scrivo pixel either. Seems like not.
Well, it's not a great second spin on Cox's side. Oh, not a good third spin. Okay.
All right.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Both players showing off perfect tournament biddy fights.
Yeah, so unfortunately, due to the restart, I have to go. So hopefully the last, 10, 15 minutes, 15-ish minutes of this run go well for both of them. But thanks for having me, everybody.
All right, thanks, Dow. Good luck with your work. So Dow mentioned that the restart was caused because McMonkey's console crashed right after Agnum for unknown reasons. And with Dow taking off, we have a surprise guest commentator Vortex joining us.
Hello. Glad this has been an uneventful race with no tense moments. And mostly I'm glad I don't have to do the awkward introductory stuff talking about how excited I am.
Yeah, you got to skip like both instances of Escape and Light World.
Yep.
You get to show up for GT and Ganon.
GT. Best splits in the game. But yeah, I mean, that's an unlucky crab for Coxla.
Oh, okay. Recovered it. He had the safety bomb if he needed it, but thankfully don't need it.
Got a couple crabs in the way, and with multiple there, it's kind of awkward to deal with them. Like if there's only one, you can just like beam it after you place the bomb, and you don't even lose any time. With a couple, you can't really guarantee that you can take care of it.
Right.
He believing in the hook shot to get across the across that first dead rock there, or the last dead rock on this first screen is what I meant.
I'm just thinking about it now. Have we had a Waffle House drive-through this tournament yet?
I don't remember seeing one, but it's certainly possible that there has been one.
Yeah, I don't think I remember seeing one either.
Coxla, it looked like he was dashing a little long on that screen to just try to take out both mini Moldorms, but the mini Moldorm juked him, so even though he dashed past the stairs, which would normally be unoptimal, like it didn't matter because the mini Moldorm went even further right. I saw one free quick warp. I did not.
Yeah, I think it was only one of the two. I got it.
Yeah, Turtle Rock is it's a dungeon in the game. It's one of those that like feels and seems like it should be mostly consistent, but you constantly lose 10 to 20 seconds there.
Yeah, it's subtly like one of the more RNG heavy ones. Like all of the instances of RNG in this dungeon tend to be punishing.
Yeah.
Like,
Coxla is going for a setup that I have not seen. It costs more magic.
He might have just forgotten what was going on.
It was a good save if that was... So, while Dow mentioned that in general you should hookshot when you can, that hookshot to that chest does not actually save time because the movement after is cardinal. So if you get a diagonal the whole way there, it can actually be... Oh, both of them getting...
Jeez. Alright, both of them getting the fairy, and both of them having a little bit of difficulty here. Coxla having a better chomps, though. But yeah, like you were saying, like this dungeon feels like it should be relatively straightforward. Like a lot of the movement is auto-scrolling, or just riding platforms, but then the instances of RNG that do exist with the pokies and everything just vary by 5 or more seconds, and some of the strats are hard.
Yeah, like... I don't know, like Chomps is impossible. This room has claimed probably more seconds than any room in TR that Poke won this tournament, unbelievably. But I've seen a lot of issues there. Yeah, it's really easy to mess up, as Doomtap says.
Yeah, this is for myself. This is the last dungeon I think I felt comfortable saying I was okay at. Like my gold here was just terrible for so long.
Yeah, my gold got pretty okay for my level pretty quickly, but then I just didn't improve it forever, and it's pretty bad now. But fortunately, after a couple early mishaps in this dungeon, it's been going mostly smooth for both runners. Squeeze Coxla. Did he use Samaria for the...
He did use Samaria for the first one, which might just be that he's not comfortable with doing the first beam, because it can be difficult if you hit the block.
When I was first learning strats for this dungeon, Coxla had taken a road trip.
We're back on route here, taking the scenic route.
But like when I first went through like getting consistent stuff that I could do every time. I didn't learn the beam strat just because I wanted something that I could just do every time. And I could absolutely not rely on having beams every time. That said, it's a lot more forgiving and faster if you do have them.
Yeah, the beam strat is ridiculously more forgiving once you get past the very first beam. McMonkey already got the boss though. I'm going for backdoor Tranix, which is easy unless you mess it up.
Yeah, pretty much like most of this dungeon and this game. Easy unless you mess it up.
Yep.
But yeah, pretty good first phase textbook. Not the ideal menu, but a fast one. One extra move.
Coxla had a little bit of a mishap there, and he's going to get ice on the floor because of it.
Still a perfectly acceptable cleanup there. That's, as far as ways that fight can go wrong, that is not the worst.
Yeah, and I think that was a pretty good read on the ice being in a poor spot and just doing a quick not double spin kill.
Yep, it's definitely heads up. But both runners are out of TR. Unfortunately, nothing can go wrong from here. No one has ever lost time in Ganon's Tower. So hopefully our runners won't be the first.
Yeah, this is where Gao is missing out, because this is definitely the most fun split in the game, if not the most stressful.
There are so many places to try to save time in GT, and you can make I think GT the human sum of best versus truly optimal room times all the way through. I think there's still 20 seconds to save on tasks in GT, which will never be saved. It's never ever going to happen.
It's gotten a lot closer lately, with Ari and Eddie both getting ridiculously good GTs recently. But
yeah,
I think we're down to 17, 18 seconds, like you said.
But that is every room going perfectly. Wow, that was an excellent menu to be able to read that RNG.
Yeah,
Monkey.
Definitely. Both players also get a torch key as well.
Yeah, that's so there's you pick one of 3 keys in this dungeon. For the route we take, there's a few that you just pick up. This chest being one of them, since you spawn it anyway, it's pretty fast. But there is a chest upstairs, a mini helmet upstairs, and a torch. And the torch is the slowest, but it's the safest and easiest of the options. It's the least that can go wrong with it. Ooh, Monkey missing the... Okay, maybe he just doesn't want to do make arrows. This is one of the rare circumstances where if you go through that warp, those arrows are actually not usually worth picking up. But if you're not comfortable with make arrows, except he's picking them up anyway.
Yeah, I think he might have just missed the warp, and usually, if you hit that warp, I think usually it is better to just grab the pot, because it's 40 frames, and you can usually skip the chest afterward.
Yeah, it's the difference between that. This boss it feels real bad to mess up, because it's pretty scripted. There's a setup. I think Monkey's going to be fine, because that was not bad enough that it will mess up.
Yeah, McMonkey should be okay, because especially since he skipped the arrow chest afterward.
to elaborate, anytime anything spins in this game, I'm pretty sure it uses something called the arc variable, and there's just one variable that is, I think, constantly updating. Anytime it's in use.
Yes. Mostly.
So what that means is when Ganon is in phase 2, he has these spinning fire bats, and where they start spinning, and therefore where they start flying at you, is dependent on this arc variable. And Armos also spins and uses it. And the way we do the fight normally, if you pull off the strat, you know exactly where those fire bats will start on Ganon. But if you mess it up, and you have to mess it up pretty badly.
Yeah, it's something like 23 seconds from when they start spinning until when you mirror out in this category that you have. If you take longer than like 23 and a half seconds, then it will probably go bad unless you cycle it around by another 40 seconds or so.
And it's dependent on... So it's active for the whole super tile. So that means in like Hundo, if you're getting red mail, you have to get the big key and get up the stairs in the next room. I think you theoretically do have enough time in Hundo.
You do. It's tight, but you do. So we didn't really talk about the gauntlet too much. It is a pretty challenging sequence of rooms McMonkey made light of, and Coxla had a few difficulties in.
The gauntlet is very hard, and probably the biggest reason for that inconsistency in between like ideal RNG and execution and what's actually viable. It's just impossible to have a good gauntlet, to be perfectly honest. Like something will go wrong. I think Airy lost 3 seconds in gauntlet in his 6:45 GT, which is the fastest anyone's ever done it. It was just an RNG loss.
Right.
Coxla picked up the magic after Land Mode 2 and didn't need to. It can be hard to know. Magic routing in this dungeon is pretty well optimized.
Yeah, it's super tight, but it is just safer to grab it in a lot of cases like that, where I messed up Land Mode 2 and I'm just going to grab this for safety.
Yeah, I guess that's true in a race setting. Like, in an actual run, if you waste all your magic and run out, like...
Yeah, the worst things have happened than what's about to.
But in a race, it costs a few frames here and there to make sure you don't just throw the wrong on magic.
Did Coxla throw another bomb not realizing the first one was going to work, or...?
I think so.
Okay. I wasn't paying attention, I just saw him throw a bomb at an open wall.
Meanwhile, McMonkey is on to one of the hardest bosses in the game.
Geometry Wizard.
Having a pretty good fight.
AKA Tennis Round 2.
Okay, I guess he only got one the first cycle, but...
Yeah, he got...
second one was definitely a triple.
1-3-1-1, I think. At least with this one, the clones always spawn energy balls, so, like, worst case, if you do everything perfectly, you should always get a 3-round fight or better. But realistically, you're looking at 4 or 5 some of the time, because they're just hard to do.
Monkey is falling into the Ganon fight. 8 hearts, which means if he touches Ganon, he will die. But he can take 1 fire bat hit. Really, you just want to not be Oko here. most times runners at this level will not take a hit. It's a pretty, but if you do, it is good to be able to.
Yeah, McMonkey actually showing that off too by taking a hit. Coxla can also afford one hit here, because unless he hugs Ganon, the most he can take is 4. And I actually didn't realize he didn't get the 1-in-1 there.
Yeah, I missed that as well. Ooh, so at the nice torch glitch. At the start of phase 4, Ganon will choose a place to warp, and if the place he chooses is the same as where he already is, you'll turn it blue, and it's a couple second time loss that you can't really do anything about. You can technically get a spin off it, but it still loses time over getting 2 early spins.
Yep, and both players here in phase 4 now, so McMonkey's just making quick work of cleaning up Ganon's last phase.
Missing
Coxla's
a number
starting.
of triple, but
yeah, it's McMonkey's to lose here. He would have to fall.
And does not look like he will. He's got his sword up, which is the big tell for getting across that 1x3 bridge. But you're just gonna miss. Oh, never mind. I didn't count. Monkey finishes with an official time of 1:29:58.
Yep, GG's to McMonkey, and Coxla is going to be just tailing here, barely behind. Oh, his fire rod shot got eaten there too. It looks like Coxla's going to be finishing with about a 1:30:31 by the look of his timer.
Yep. Yeah, his timer is about 7 seconds behind. So
yeah,
it was a little closer than it looked. But yeah, I mean, pretty close race, all things considered, especially since very different things went wrong for each runner.
Yeah,
well,
not even accounting for the re-race.
Yeah. Yeah, GG's for Coxla as well. We'll see if we get one or both of them in here. I know that they might have a little less time, given that it was supposed to be done about half an hour earlier.
It looks like we're joined now by McMonkey. GG's.
Thanks.
Clutch sub 90.
What was that, Vortex?
You clutched the sub 90.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because before the tournament started, I said any race that I got a sub 90 and I'd be happy with, and yet this felt terrible most of the way through. So I guess, I guess I have to be happy with it since that's what I said.
Yeah. Contractually obligated at this point.
Yeah, I mean there are obviously some goofs in there, but it's anytime. I mean, sub 90 is hard, right? So like getting a sub 90 in a race situation, and I just really appreciate Coxla being understanding of issues that came up and give him the opportunity to re-race. I'm glad that going into pod, it was pretty close to the same gap we had the first time through before we had issues.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So do we still not know what happened then initially?
I don't. I mean, it's very hot here today, so I don't know if everybody's AC's turned on or if the mess of cords under my desk got kicked or who knows what. I really don't know. I tried checking to make sure that the console was plugged all the way in. It wasn't like the power brick was hanging or anything, so I just don't know.
We are also joined by Coxla. GG's. Nice run.
Hello, GG's McMonkey.
Yeah, GG's. I didn't get to catch a whole lot of what was going on for you. Decided to actually concentrate for most of it. Some good it did me.
Well, it was a bit average.
I think for a lot of it, like a lot of it was very, very similar on both sides. Like just Coxla had a better cold stare. Both of you had some issues with Vitreous. Both of you had some. Coxla had some issues with Trinax. Like it was just a bunch of tiny things that were jockeying it back and forth here and there, closing the gap and then making the gap bigger.
Yeah, a lot of medium-sized disasters. No major disasters, but a lot of 15, 20-second time losses. Too many of them.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that really closed the gap right in the middle there was the issues you had in Ice Palace.
Yeah. Getting the bomb jump the first time and then getting bumped off the edge by the fire snake, or the fire bar was... I chuckled a little bit to avoid crying, mostly.
To your earlier point about, being happy with any sub 90, there were a dozen places that this could have, in one instant, turned into very much not a sub 90. So like Cold Stare, Vidi, and so clutching out all those, like, despite the fact that none of them went exactly the way you wanted, like, being able to mitigate the potential time loss is a huge part of this game, and both of you guys did a very good job of that.
Yeah, both of you actually did a deathless run too.
Well, that's something. Yeah, I feel like the racing, being forced to run a no reset, and being in a race situation, I think that it forces me. I mean, I tend to reset more than most, so it's good to get the practice in continuing through these medium disasters and not letting it spiral out of control, or trying not to, because sometimes it just does. But yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason I joined the tournament, was just to get more reps with in runs like this, with pressure on the line, and not wanting to completely blow it in front of a group of people who will let me hear about it for a while.
Yep, that's more or less the same reason. I reset way too much, and I thought at least I would finish 4 runs in a month, so that would be cool, and try to avoid those mistakes.
Yeah, so I guess, is there anything that stood out to either of you about your run that you wanted to speak of before we close it off?
No, thanks to you, Sirius, and Dow, and Vortex for doing the comms, and Ricky for getting up early, or I guess staying up late. Did I see that Ricky stayed up all night and did the stream first thing this morning?
Well, my work schedule is I'm up overnight, so I am 2 hours late to bed.
I see. Well, I appreciate you staying up for us. Thank you for the restream.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah,
we really appreciate you bearing with us for this 100% normal situation.
Oh, good. It was entertaining. But with that, are we good to wrap up?
I think so, unless Coxla or McMonkey have anything they want to add.
No, thanks again to Coxla for being the most understanding.
No worries, that was... I prefer this lose than winning the first one, so... That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sirius and Vortex, and Ricky, and Dao.
Alright, and with that, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you to our runners, Coxla and McMonkey. Thank you to our commentators, Dow, Sirius, Cord, and Vortex and Doom. Coming up on ZSR on this channel at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have a Zelda 2 randomizer standard tournament match between Animist United and Devious RNG. At 4 p.m., we have a Cross Keys Link to the Past randomizer tournament match between Alka and Homemade Beer. And tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have another Link to the Past NMG League match, Dark World Division Round 2, between Relkin and Bentizi. So lots of good stuff today. Hope you find something you want to watch. And with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off here. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful time and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!
Later.